I'm Dr. Kate. This is PsychU for You. And today we're going to talk about 3 different connected topics. So cognition, and from cognition we start to understand concepts and then how we use prototyping to help us understand the world. So cognition is really anything that has to do with knowing, thinking, understanding, remembering, communicating. All of those things are connected to our cognition. So this is all the stuff that's kind of happening in our brain. Sometimes we're aware of it, sometimes we're not aware of it, but we're constantly have a lot of folks have images going through their mind. Maybe other folks have voices that sound like them, kind of talking through things throughout the day, sometimes the night as well. But this is cognition. And so obviously there's a lot to do, especially in the field of psychology with cognition. The next thing that I want to talk about is concept. So what we do in the field of psychology is we start to try to organize all this information that comes in. So we, as human beings, are this massive sensory input system. So we just take in all of this information constantly. But you can imagine what it would be like if we had no way of organizing that information. And so we start by creating some concepts, some generalized kind of categories that help us kind of organize information that comes in. So for example, if we were talking about bird, that you have a concept in your mind of what a bird might be. Most folks think of birds as those flying things that kind of tweet around, sit up in the trees, so on and so forth, eat little worms. So that might be your concept of bird. And from that concept, there's probably what comes up next is kind of a prototype. So this is a main representation of what a bird is. So if I say bird, you're more likely going to think of something that an image that represents something that is kind of this flying bird. However, if I was to say ostrich or emu or penguin, all of a sudden they're not flying birds, they're kind of walking birds. They're not these little cute flying fuzzy things that sit up in the trees. Some of them are bigger than us, and so all of a sudden our concept starts to shift a little. And maybe even our prototype shifts as well to maybe include something that might be a little bit bigger like that. So this is how we start to organize our world. So you can imagine that we have these different concepts that are all around us for all the information that comes in. And it's oftentimes usually represented by some kind of a prototype. Thank you for listening today. Stay tuned for my next video.